In this tutorial, we'll explore how to integrate variant links as features into your main model. This approach lets you create multiple parts that share common features while still allowing each part to be configured independently. We'll start with the model from the previous tutorial, which creates two mating parts, making the body effectively a template to derive others from. We'll then take this a step further by using the variant directly as a feature in our designs. For example, both parts can use the same tooth generating body while allowing each variant to define different tooth sizes, eliminating the need to recreate the tooth pattern for each part. Please note this lesson assumes you have already completed the previous video for a fuller understanding of how variant links work. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0 or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. Using the project from our previous lesson, let's create a new variant link from the body. Let's select the body. It should be in bold. If not, right click and click Active Body. Next, select the standard link, and let's rename this Link Body. The original body we'll rename Template Body. The link body, if we look down, we can see that the link copy on change is disabled at the moment. Let's hide the template body, select the link, and come down to link copy on change and set this to enabled. We now have the back and front tooth parameters displayed in black so they can change. If we look back to the link body and expand it, we notice that the polar pattern is named the same as the original polar pattern. If we change the back tooth, updating the parameters, link copy on change becomes owned. And we notice that the polar pattern has changed name. This allows us to use the clone workflow. Let's click on some blank space and select the polar pattern. If I clone this now, we've cloned the polar pattern into a new body. Look inside the body, we have the clone within here, polar pattern 001. If we haven't changed the parameters, then that link wouldn't have updated, and we would be linking the original polar pattern to our clone. So any changes to the link body will pass down into the polar pattern and also propagate down into the clone. So if we create an operation against the back face of the polar pattern, first of all, we must make sure that the link body is hidden. Otherwise, if we select the back, notice the polar pattern's being selected from the original link, not the clone. And we can tell that when we create a sketch upon it, we get this reference pop up. We know something's wrong. Let's cancel that. Let's hide the link body. And now when we select face on the back, we get the clone itself. So when we create a sketch upon that clone, making sure that the body is active, let's double click on it. Create a sketch, it's added to the back of the clone. Now one thing to note is about if you're attaching this to a face, then it can become renamed if it's part of, say, a repeating pattern. This is a repeating pattern. The face I've placed a sketch upon is quite safe because pattern is repeated on this face here, and if the occurrences change, then the geometry of the teeth themselves are removed and added. So say if I created a sketch upon the last tooth, then this will be an unstable feature and we're likely to get problems. Creating a sketch upon the back is absolutely fine. But if you want to make double sure, take that sketch and hit delete, then we can make sure nothing's selected. The clone body is active. So any sketches I add will be added to the clone, and I can take one of the base planes. Toggle the section view. Let's say we add polyline connecting up the horizontal axis. We'll sketch a dome in here. Let's hover over horizontal axis again, press the M key, get the arc, click once and connect back up. to our original point. If we can't connect up to it, let's place point close by, right click to cancel, highlight both of those, make sure we add a coincident constraint. I can see that this point isn't connected. We'll take these two and add the coincident constraint. And now I can take this sketch, hit close, take the sketch and add a revolve and hit OK. So I'm extending the geometry of the clone, which in turn is using the link body. We could build this model out further. Let's create another variant link, add some operations, and demonstrate how the tooth pattern can be changed between those so it shows they're independent. Also, we'll change the top level body and show changes flowing down the tree to the individual variants. Let's first rename the link body, the clone body, and also let's keep all these together because the workflow can get a bit messy. For that, we'll create a new part and drop the link body inside the part along with the clone body. We can rename the part. I'm calling it part A, and we can hide that part. We've got plenty of space to work with. Let's create a new link from the template body. Let the template body look on the data tab, change the link copy on change to enabled. Find one of the parameters and we'll just change it. Just change this to 1. You can see the tip has changed to polar pattern 002, and therefore we know it's safe. Come into the template body, select the last operation and create a clone. Remember to hide the template body. This time we'll take the back face, create a sketch upon it, and it's saying that we've got a problem here, and that's because I haven't enabled the body. So let's double click on it, make it active, make sure nothing's selected, let the back face, create a sketch, and we'll add something different this time. Let's add a circle in here, and to show that we can actually remove from the variant, so the feature of the variant, we'll take the sketch and create a pocket. We'll pocket through around about 1 millimeter and hit OK. You can see the pocket in there. That's removed volume from the variant feature. So now we have 2. Let's create another part in here and drop the link in. I haven't renamed them yet, and also drop the body in. We'll rename this part B, and we've got 2 parts. We'll show one and right click on the part, and we can transform the part, place it over here somewhere and click off OK. So if I'm in part B, I can change dimensions, and we'll see part B will change and part A will stay the same. And the same if we come into part A, come down to the link body. This is where renaming comes in handy, and we'll change this to 3 and 4. And we can see the change has taken effect. We've got 2 parts with variant features that are the same, but the dimensions are controlled by a config. Now, what happens if we change the top level body that these are derived from? If we cast our mind back when we created the link from this template body, set the copy on change, change the variable, and we saw the polar pattern get renamed, then we'll see something similar happen when we change this template body. So if I come into the pad and look at the original sketch, and let's say we change the 15 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and hit OK, we won't see a change just yet. If I hit close, we can see both parts haven't updated yet. I have to force a refresh through the link body. So if I click on this link body, we've still got polar pattern 001. If I right click on the link body and come up to refresh configuration object, you'll see an error occur. So in the clone body now, we see that our clone, its base feature is not set. In the link body, we have the polar pattern. Notice the naming. It's now 003. If I click on the clone, the base feature is not set. It's been removed. The previous polar pattern no longer exists. The link has basically rebuilt itself. So all we do is come into the base feature, click on the button on the end, and we have to find the polar pattern 003 from the link and hit OK. The minute we click off, the clone comes out of error, and if we look, we can see we've got this gap in here, which is a reduction of that inner circle. We have to go through the same process with the other link. We've got part B, and this was the link. We can see the link icon there, and we see the polar pattern is 002, which is the last action, the tip, which this body here is the clone, and we cloned that polar pattern 002. We need to take the template body and right click and refresh configuration object. The tip will change. So we see polar pattern 004 now. Clone will go into error because its base feature no longer exists. Go into the base feature, click the button on the end, scroll down, and we see polar pattern 004 and hit OK. When we click off, everything updates and our change has been applied, both the variants. That's it. That's how to use a variant link as a feature in FreeCAD. If you're wondering about the construction of the model that was shown at the beginning of the video, then let's take some time to go through it. The first part, part A, was derived from a clone from the variant, and a sketch was revolved around the base plane as per the video. I then added a sketch on the other base plane and offset it from the center. The sketch was then padded up to the face using the type up to face, and we selected the revolve face. After that, another pad was created, and this was just a simple hexagon sketch. It was placed on the last feature. And I created a pocket in that to allow for a metal bolt to be placed within. Part B was again derived from variant link. Sketch was added to the base, and a pad was created. Another sketch was added to the base of that, and a pad was created again. There was a final sketch added to create a pocket, and then from there, the fillets and the chamfer added. Again, the variants were kept independent from the parent body, each allowing for independent control over the teeth. That's how to use variant links as a feature in FreeCAD in your part design models. Hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/MANG0, or via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/DarrenBEstone. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. I thank everybody that's donated so far. It really helps to keep the lights on so I can produce more content and also expand the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing to these videos, and I hope to see you again in the next one.